This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Vegas 83. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, my most confident picks, favorite underdogs, prop/value bets, and then finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure to share the video as well. Last week, unfortunately, the lock took an L. I decided to go underdog Kelvin Gastelum, making his return to 170. On weight, everything seemed to be on point, even from what we heard with Kelvin Gastelum as he felt strong. He got manhandled by Sean Brady. And what I think for Sean Brady was an absolute breakout performance that shows his grappling level is extremely good. Now, for me, I was very disappointed because the lock of the week took a fat L. After a 9-week win streak in my last two, I'm 1-1. And I want to get things back on track again and get that double-digit win streak coming up and heading into 2024. No better way than to start it at the UFC Apex, Vegas 83. So without further ado, the lock of the week.
Fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri, USA, Tim Elliot.
Tim Elliot, lock of the week. I'm going unorthodox with my lock here. A short notice replacement lock. Normally, people would say, me included, this would be a red flag call. Tim Elliot is somebody that I've locked before and had success. His win over Victor Altamirano, I picked him as the lock then. And I feel like this is a stylistic matchup that favors him. Sumudaerji has a limited ground game, and I think the takedowns of Tim Elliot are going to be a big factor in this fight. And if there's anybody ready for a hard 15 minutes with a short notice fight, it's a guy that's veteran as they come and top caliber gatekeeper in Tim Elliot. I was favoring Alan Nascimento to beat Sumudaerji by submission in the first round. He had a big grappling advantage. Elliot has even more of a wrestling advantage than Alan Nascimento. What he doesn't have is the same submission threat. So I'm going to pick him to win here by a decision over Sumudaerji. Now the line for the fight, Tim Elliot is a slight favorite at -145 coming in on short notice. He recently fought October 21st. It was a loss to Muhammad Mokaev, but he got Mokaev down on his back, and Mokaev is a top caliber wrestler. Sumudaerji is a primary kickboxer who has a good amount of submission losses as a professional, and I think he's going to absolutely struggle with Tim Elliot when they hit the ground. The money line is the A side, -145. I see Tim Elliot as a tremendous lock of the week here. I know some might not love it. Let me know in the comments if you're concerned about the short notice. I know some of you will be, and I get it. But Elliot's got so many fights. I know he's training all the time. I expect him on weight, in shape, and he gives a veteran lesson to Sumudaerji in this fight and gets a short notice decision win and pumps his stock back up for another big fight heading into 2024. Tim Elliot, this week's lock. Let's jump to the most confident picks on the card. I'll list them all off, and then we'll go in detail about each one of them. Kevin Juse to beat Kenan Song. Then I have Tatsuro Taira to take out Carlos Hernandez. I have Melquizio Costa to beat Steve Garcia. This is back-to-back most confident picks because he was on my lineup last week. Only difference with this bout is it's a lightweight bout. They're not cutting the extra 10 pounds this week. Obviously, it was originally a featherweight bout. And then we have Hyun Sung Park over Shannon Ross as a high confidence call. So first, let's talk Kevin Juse, who out of the whole lineup of high confidence picks has the prettiest line. It's near even, -135, not a bad tag. He trains with City Kickboxing. City Kickboxing already has a win over Kenan Song, being Israel Adesanya beat him. Juse has similarities to Israel Adesanya's kickboxing game, and I feel like he's a great prospect on the come up here at 170 pounds. I was close to calling Kevin Juse my lock of the week. I ended up going with Elliot simply due to the fact is I do respect Kenan Song's potential with his punching power and the fact that he did pull off a win last time out against a guy that I feel like, shit, we all thought was a lock. And I'll be honest, it's crazy because live, I'm losing the name. I'm seeing his face, but the name of that last opponent was Bedoya. Yeah, Rolando Bedoya, who gave hell to Chaos Williams in the fight prior. When I think about up-and-coming guy, Kevin Jousset, word on the street is he gives Adesanya very good rounds in sparring. And looking at his style that he showcased against Kiefer Crosby, I'm not surprised. He's well-rounded. He's a good kickboxer from range. He has some length to him. And he's, I think, the prospect to back right here. He brings in a 3.5-inch reach advantage, 2-inch height advantage, and I think he knows how to use that range. So I'm going with the Frenchman, Kevin Jousset, over Kenan Song. As far as prop betting this one, we have over 1.5 at minus 220, which I think is pretty likely. And we have KO win for Jousset at plus 250. I'm thinking he gets a second or third round knockout of Kenan Song. And I really feel like Jousset's stock is going to continue to climb. And I see him as a guy that might be in the rankings into 2025 or even get a ranking fight in 2024. He's 30 years of age, the skill set he's showing. And then if he can get one win here early, quarter 1 or 2, 2024 win, especially if he's impressive, I don't see why he wouldn't be fighting ranked opposition. Very legit welterweight prospect in Jousset, who I'm backing here with high confidence. Next one, Tatsuro Taira, minus 515. The line sucks. I understand. The odds are he's winning this fight by submission, and I think it's probably early. Submission win for Tatsuro Taira is plus 120. Now, against Edgar Chairez, he looked a little bit suspect, and he was locked in a mounted guillotine at the end of the fight, but I don't think Hernandez has the same grappling threat than Chairez. Even though Chairez doesn't have an official submission win over Daniel Lacerda da Silva, he did submit him. Standing guillotine. He had him in the submission. So we know he brings a good guillotine. As far as Hernandez goes, I would say that boxing-wise, he might have a slight advantage over Taira, but Taira, being the better wrestler, is going to get it to the floor in control. Now, I'm not into the over-under here. I think Taira is live to win by submission in the first round. It is plus 155 for under 1.5. But note that he has decision wins, and Hernandez not an easy guy to finish. I think he'll get a later submission, possibly too. I'm going sub, so if I'm looking at this one, Taira would be an extension parlay piece if you're really looking for safety, or that plus 120 sub line for Tatsuro Taira here over Hernandez in this fight. Next one, Melquizio Costa, who we talked about last week. He's minus 255 is the favorite. Another parlay piece. I'm predicting a later knockout. Over 1.5 is minus 115, but I don't necessarily love playing the over here, but I will predict that it goes longer. And then win for Melquizio Costa by knockout is plus 160. Steve Garcia is heavy-handed, but he is at a disadvantage technically with the kickboxing, I think by a pretty clear-cut margin, and I expect Melquizio Costa to expose the gaps in the defensive abilities of Steve Garcia. So Costa, high confidence call, getting a W in this fight. And then the final of the most confident picks, it's another ugly line. It's Hyun Sung Park, who should really destroy the side of Shannon Ross. Now, my official call was submission here at plus 175. Knockout is possible too at plus 120. I expect Park to get a win, and I'm going to say that we're getting it done quite early in the fight. Under 1.5 is minus 200. I'm anticipating that we get a one-round fight. Park to win in the first round, just the straight line of that. You don't have to touch how he gets it done, but him winning in round 1, minus 105. Shannon Ross, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. He's 1-4 in his last 5. Granted, Steve Erceg beat him outside of the UFC, and I can't really knock him for a loss against Erceg. Lost last time out against Clayton Rodriguez. Actually, no, not Clayton. Jesus Aguilar knocked him out in 1 punch last time. What am I thinking? Clayton Rodriguez knocked him out earlier in the year in 59 seconds. And then Vincius Salvador knocked him out in the second round, and Salvador didn't show to be all that great throughout his recent UFC fights. So I think Hyun Sung Park is going to be the needed performer from that road to the UFC series, because obviously Anshu Jubli took a recent loss, and I think Park is very good. I think he dominates Ross, destroys him, really demolishes him. I'm saying it's a one-round fight. Park getting a win. That is a high confidence pick. Those are the most confident picks. Let's jump to the favorite underdog section. If you guys haven't yet, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe. First on the list, actually, I'll read them all off because I got 4 of them. So we'll put them up on screen. We got Egger, Malarkey, Smith, Gutierrez. Stephanie Egger. I am picking her over Luana Santos. Santos is 23. Even though she TKO'd Juliana Miller in the first round, it was impressive she got to finish. I do think she has iffy stand-up. She has a solid grappling game, but Stephanie Egger is a judoka with good grappling in her own right. She has a win over Eileen Perez by submission. I feel like in this fight here, Egger's going to be able to compete in the grappling, and I think in the stand-up, we got an even Stevens, maybe even Egger. I'll say a bit cleaner with her striking style. So I think Egger to win at plus 140 money line. Thumbs up. That would be the A side. Now, decision win for Egger sits at plus 325. If you're looking at the over 2.5 minus 148, I think there's a good chance for that as well. I'm going Egger for the upset win in this fight. She's a big underdog. I know she got submitted by Alex Siva, who turned out to be a little bit iffy as far as her skill set goes last time out, but she did get caught in a rolling knee bar, which is a sambo technique. And I don't think Stephanie Egger is suspect on the ground because she got caught in a bad spot last time out. I'm not doubting her here in this fight, especially against a 23-year-old. I'm going Egger to get the win. Next one, Jamie Mullarkey at plus 160. I love it for Mullarkey here. Reason being, I've never been heavily sold on Nasrat Haqparast, but it's like he's continuing to be a favorite in fights, and he's expected to win these bouts, but he's having a tit-for-tat fight with Landon Quinones. Mullarkey's a tall kickboxer. He's got a good upright style. He's got nice straight shots. He can kick well. He has some power. Granted, he's been chinned. I don't think of Haqparast as a power puncher. He's good at winning the decisions. He times takedowns. I'm going to say Mullarkey gets a split decision. Competitive fight, plus 160 for Mullarkey. Decision win is plus 400 for the side of Jamie Mullarkey with an over 2.5 at minus 220. I think Mullarkey gets it in a competitive fight, 29-28 on the judges' scorecards. And I really do believe it's going to end up being a split decision win for the side of Mullarkey. Nonetheless, plus 160, money line, the A side. Next one, it's our co-main event. Another short notice fight. Anthony Smith steps in to fight Khalil Rountree. They obviously remove Rountree from a previous card, that UFC Austin card, put him the next week, and we have him here now fighting Smith after Azmat Mirzakhanov pulled out due to pneumonia. Anthony Smith is plus 190. I think he's going to exploit the grappling weakness that Khalil Rountree has. I know Rountree has a lot of punching power, but Anthony Smith is no bum on the feet. He definitely has good kickboxing skills, and he can rip nice punches too. He touched up Ryan Spann a bit. Yeah, he got hurt bad in that fight. I would say Spann is a more mobile fighter than Khalil Rountree and has, I think, better grappling defense. We've seen Rountree beaten on the ground before. I think Smith can lock him up in a sub and exploit that. So I'm going Smith plus 190 money line. Win by sub for Smith is plus 500. I think he's got a great chance to win by sub. And over 1.5 rounds is plus 105. I think we're going to go a little bit longer, and Smith's going to lock up a sub, especially when you see Rountree pressed in the grappling. I can see him fading. Anthony Smith is still a top caliber guy, and I think he's being completely written off in this fight here. I love the odds of Anthony Smith winning. Plus 190. Give me Lionheart Anthony Smith. And then next one we got is Chris Gutierrez at plus 295. This one is going to be one that I see people already now in the chat saying, no way. I know a lot of people think that Song is going to run over Gutierrez, but I really believe in his leg kicks. I believe in his movement, and I think he could outpoint Song Yadong over the 5 rounds. I'm not saying there's no chance of him getting stunned or even dropped by a big shot, but I do think he's got good recovery ability. Chris Gutierrez is in great shape, and chopping at Song's legs as we get into that 3rd round is going to slow him down, and the power bar is going to drop. And I think that is where Chris Gutierrez is going to shine. I think he wins this thing on the judges' scorecards. Hard-fought decision. Song will be the most dangerous in round 1 and 2. I think 3, 4, and 5 is where Gutierrez is really going to be able to stride toward the finish line. So I'm going Chris Gutierrez. I would just money line that one. I'm not touching no props on that one. Plus 295. Gutierrez to get the win, to close out the favorite underdog section, but we're not done just yet. Let's look at the prop/value bet. So I have first one that I wanted to bring up is a Jun Young Park submission prop, DGen, plus 600, a gassed out Andre Muniz gets locked up in a rear naked choke by Park, who's the better wrestler and boxer. I think it's possible at plus 600. It's a D-Gen look, but I really think it's live. I think Park's got a real good chance to win, and I wanted to bring up that plus 600 D-Gen prop tag just because, it adds some more excitement. Plus 200 knockout. He might get a knockout, ground and pound, but I think sub is also going to be live for Park. And knowing Park, I think in the back of his mind, he's like, I want to sub the Jiu-Jitsu ace to really make a statement in this fight. And then the next one is Rayana Amanda dos Santos. I think she's got a great chance to win. And I'll be honest, I was close to including her in the most confident pick section. The reason I did not is I said, okay, debuting ladies fight, let me exclude her. Let me pull her out. Decision win, though, for Amanda is plus 165. I think she's got a decent shot to win a hard-fought decision over Alan Carr, who's very good with her jiu-jitsu, but Amanda's good at jiu-jitsu and wrestling too, and definitely is the better striker. So give me the Invicta atomweight champ to win her UFC debut. Those right there are the prop/value bets. I want to talk about parlays. Parlays are getting me stoked for this card because obviously I think I have some great underdogs. I have some high confidence calls. Tim Elliott on a close money line at minus 142, mixed in with Juice plus 186. If you're looking for straight value out the gate between two confident calls that are in near even money zone. Now, if I'm looking to throw, a monkey wrench in it, maybe I'm going for an underdog lineup. Who is the dog that I want? Something has told me Anthony Smith is a great underdog here at plus 190, and then lining him up with the side of someone, even like realistically a big favorite like Tatsuro Taira and the side of Park, plus 295. It does add 100 points to your lineup, and I think there's a real good chance that it happens here. Melquizio Costa now plus 437, or you're throwing in a close money line. You're throwing in Tim Elliott. Now you got plus 573 to throw high confidence, close money, favorite lock, and then throwing in Anthony Smith, good size underdog at plus 190. I think we got a great chance of hitting. Jusel on the lineup too is plus 1,027. I think there's a real good chance. This one's looking golden here. Gutierrez, now you get into D-Gen zone, but hey, plus 4,522. Something worth mentioning at the very least. Now, I want to go a little bit on the safer side for a moment, as opposed to, throwing the absolute dynamite savagery from the jump. What if we go with just the bigger favorites? Costa, Taira, Park, minus 118. This tells me leave out Costa and instead put in Tim Elliott, or you don't want the lock, do an alternate and don't have the lock in and throw in somebody like Giuseppe plus 128. It does bring you to plus money. Ladies fight early on, you go with the side of the over, maybe, right? Plus 104, risky over, but ladies fights end up hitting a lot of the times distance. Plus 118, Dos Santos, Park, Tayada. I want to go D-Gen. Fuck this close money shit. I'm going big underdog attack. Let's go Tim Elliott, Anthony Smith, Jamie Malarkey, plus 1234. And now we add in Taira and Park. Now we got plus 1716. Something's telling me that this has got a real good shot. Then you want to add more heat on your steam right there, plus 2,944 with Kevin Juice. You're like, listen, keep me out of Juice. Melquizio Costa still brings you in the plus 2,000 range. You don't want the lock. Tim Elliott, I'll take him out. Just Smith, Malarkey, Taira, and Sung, plus 966. I think there's a good shot that this all comes to fruition. Now, you see I'm leaving out Stephanie Egger. It's more just a concern with the ladies fight overall, right? Putting her in the parlay, and then it ends up shitting the bed. But we've seen last week, Miesha Tate should have been my lock, and she was an underdog that won, and I picked her to win. She was a favorite underdog last week that came through. Plus 2,415, and we can thank Miesha Tate for that one right there because it's giving me a little more confidence on the possibility of it actually happening. This is straight D-Gen, though. We get into the plus 5,000 range. But I think I got some good underdogs. I think I got some good high-confidence calls. With the parlays, it's really dependent upon how you're looking at it. You want to go close money. You want to go with a lock, Tim Elliott, and maybe you throw him in with a real big favorite. Let me do that real quick. Lock Tim Elliott with just one favorite. Tim Elliott with the side of Hyun Sung Park, plus 105. Now Elliott is in underdog territory, and I think this one has a real good chance of hitting. This is the safer side right here for sure, and I think pretty damn live to hit. Pretty damn live to hit. that is this week's best MMA bets, UFC Vegas 83 edition. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely let me know what you thought of the calls in the comments down below. Are you rooting for me to get back on the lock streak, or do you think I'm fumbling again? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what the people are thinking. Drop me your lock. I'm curious what you guys are thinking. W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. If you really enjoyed the video, smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. Keep your eyes locked on the channel because I got daily content coming that you don't want to miss. So make sure your post notifications are turned on, and not just on personalized, but put them on all so you don't miss a video. Much love, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.